Today's episode is on discipline. How discipline and loneliness is kind of entangled in one. With discipline comes loneliness. You know, when you're disciplined, you're in a quiet state, lonely. Things that you used to have to say yes to, you now have to say no. You have to learn to change the things that once brought you happiness, and sometimes that comes with loneliness. You know, you may want to discipline yourself from not going out on the weekends, not drinking, not smoking, not, doing whatever those things may be that you feel is hindering your life. So, when people ask you, hey, do you want to come out and do this? You have to have the discipline to say no. And with that comes the loneliness. If you say no and, all your friends are going out, the people you hang with go out, you have to sit at home or go do something that by yourself. Maybe there's somebody else that may join you, but 9 times out of 10, early on, you're going to have to do that alone. And discipline comes with, learning how to do things alone. If you're going to the gym, you said you're going to go to the gym every day, but you want to work out with somebody. It's a Tuesday at 3 o'clock and y'all always go and something comes up for them. And they say, hey, I'm going to go to the gym later. Will you come with me? You're probably not going to be able to go to the gym. So you have to discipline yourself and say, hey, nah, I'm going to still go at 3 o'clock because I have something to do later. And if I miss this day, I leave it up to chance tomorrow for the same thing to happen. And then boom, it takes 2 days. Just as fast as you get a habit, you can lose it. It takes longer to build a habit than it takes to lose a habit. So through that, like the gym, you have to wait for results. You have to do things without an applause, do things without people knowing. A lot of people want the, approval of others or the acknowledgement of others, but you have to do this. Discipline is doing it without getting a result immediately. J. Cole once said, I don't remember the exact lyric, but you can't hide a star in a closet for long. Like, you eventually your shine is going to come from under that closet and somebody's going to open it. And it's just the discipline to know, hey, like, the time is coming, but you have to have the discipline to keep going. It's like the gym, rehab for all my ACLers. You have to continue to do things without a result immediately, because the discipline of that is having no immediate result, but knowing you're stacking the days, that's going to be your result. Going to the gym, you can't go to the gym once or twice and then be like, oh yeah, I'm a buff bodybuilder, I'm going to go hop on the national circuit. Nah, you got to go to the gym for, weeks on end, months on end before you start seeing results. Obviously, for some people, if you're in the gym for a long time before that, like for me, I probably lifted every day for the past 4 months. December 6th was the last time I lifted. So it's about to be a month since I lifted, and I know I lost all my gains, a lot of my gains. But there's a chance I can gain it back a little faster, but I still have to discipline myself again, or my new regimen to get back to where I want to be. It's like rehab. When you're going through rehab, you have to sit and stack the days and see your gains come through the table. Like sometimes, you want this thing to pop up, but if you do it for 5 days, the 6th day could be the day that it changes, and that's just like anything. If you want to be a doctor or anything like that, or other content creators, like you may have to do something for 5 days and it's not working and you want to give up, but the 6th day can be the day everything changes. It's like being an overnight success. Some people are overnight success, Some people, one hit wonders, for example. They make one song and it blows up and changes their entire life. That's an overnight success. They wrote one song and that one song took them where they needed to be. But one that shows they don't have any longevity in that. That one song, you never hear from them again. So that's just, discipline is just staying consistent. It comes with the loneliness, but discipline and consistency is 101. 2 Corinthians verses 5-7, or chapter 5-7. It says, Walk by faith and ooh, walk by faith and not by sight. You know, you have to have faith that things will change, even though you can't see it. You know, I forget which verse it is, but Jesus was talking to one of the disciples that said, "You didn't trust me until you seen what I did." You know, true faith is knowing that is going on behind the scenes. You know, you shouldn't have to be able to read it. You shouldn't have to be able to see it. You should still have faith that it's going to happen. So having the discipline is knowing, even though that I can't see things changing right in front of my eyes, I have faith that things are going to change soon. You know, as soon as you drop that faith, things won't change. You know, and 2 Corinthians is just a constant reminder of that. Like, keep your discipline and have faith, things will change. Things will change. You know, I also look at, got in my note, discipline is like a filter. You know, a Brita filter, if you may be. That's the only filter brand I really know. But it's like a Brita filter. Filter and discipline is one. You know, when you put in the tap water, it slowly goes through this filter and gives you the right water. You can't just put water into your filter and instantly, well, I guess instantaneously you do get some water, but for a lot of Brita filters, like, it has to be a slow dribble. You fill up that big pitcher before the filter and then put it in the fridge, and then when you come back to it, it's now drinkable water. You see movement, it's my dog. You know? So it takes time to filter out the bad things. It takes time for that discipline to build. It takes time for it. You know, but when you're filtering, you're gonna filter out the bad things, the things that not are gonna improve your life, the things that are gonna keep you where you're at. You know, keep you're trying to get comfortable with. I don't see why. But, you know, it's filters are like quiet action, and that's all discipline is, quiet action. You have to do things without approval. You have to do things without people knowing. You have to do things sometimes when you don't even want to do it. But things are going to be changing. Just like a filter. You put that tap water in. You can't hear it. When you come back, that's drinkable water. That's healthy water. Oh, look how comfortable you got. My bad, I gotta take a picture of this. Legend. But yeah, discipline, loneliness, and consistency are just all kind of one. You know, those are the words for today. And, you know, some people love love discipline, but they don't understand the other side, and that's where people get lost. You know, they think discipline is just gonna be everybody's gonna see me being disciplined. They're all gonna love me for it, and I'm gonna get that approved. But they don't understand discipline is doing things when you don't want to do it. Discipline is doing things when you don't see a result immediately or as fast as you thought, but are you going to keep going? You know, discipline is going to keep you grounded. Discipline is something that you fall back on when motivation goes away. You're motivated to go to the gym every day, but when that day comes that I don't want to lift today, or, you know, it's thunderstorming and you really don't want to lift, you got to go. That's your discipline. That lift can be the best lift of your life. You know, I've had plenty of lifts where I don't want to go to the gym today. My bed's comfortable. Oh, it's raining, or you know, things of that nature. But some of those lifts have been the best lifts that I had. It was snowing. A lot of people, oh, snow, I'm not going to lift. It was 5 in the morning, snow everywhere on the ground. I remember driving out and slipped almost immediately. Anybody else would, yeah, I'm going to turn around. I'm not gonna go lift today, obviously, but the snow added an extra oomph, to say, an extra pizzazz to my lift. Like, the snow made me want to lift even more. So, you know, falling back on my discipline and finding things that keep you going. You know, think about how many people may go in a thunderstorm. Obviously, your own thought process is gonna help you take you further, but that's where things lie. So if you're feeling lonely, you're feeling lost in your discipline, and you feel like it's not working, keep the faith. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Keep the faith. You know, walk by faith and not by sight. Keep going. Things will change. But this is just part of it.